The Battle of Stalingrad was the most bloody and barbaric battle of the whole of the Second World War, with the casualty and death toll in the millions. The city held great importance for the Soviets and also the Nazis, and they would fight to the death for it. After having initial successes on the Eastern Front, Stalingrad was seen as a major turning point against the German army and the Nazi war effort. It resulted in the complete destruction of the German Sixth Army, and it was heralded across in Germany as a huge defeat once the population had been told. The street fighting was intense, and the built-up city became a battleground, with each house and each street holding strategic importance, and the conditions in the city were dire. The Luftwaffe were bombing heavily, and the stress of battle on the soldiers was incredibly high. But there was a phenomena within the German High Command, and it was linked to the death rate of the Sixth Army's soldiers based in Stalingrad. For a battle situation, there was an alarmingly high rate of German and Axis soldiers who were dying from natural causes on the battlefield. This has been labelled Stalingrad Heart, but why was this? Join us today as we look at Stalingrad Heart, the silent killer of World War II's bloodiest battle. Remember to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. The Axis casualties of the Battle of Stalingrad were well over 750,000 in their number, which is incredibly shocking considering it was just one battle. It resulted in the complete capitulation and surrender of the Sixth Army, who suffered wipeout and destruction at the hands of the Red Army. The fighting inside the city was indescribable, and it was barbaric and brutal. The Soviet generals were executing their own men if they dared to retreat one step, and this made them dig in and become an even more determined foe for the Germans. As the Soviets counterattacked and encircled the Germans, conditions for them deteriorated greatly. The surrounded forces were forced to live on hardly any food and were killing their horses to eat. The situation was so bad that the horse meat was frozen and was unable to be cut by a knife, and there was a huge amount of despair on a daily basis, along with the cold to contend with. Many German soldiers took their own lives, and a number inflicted wounds on themselves to try and get a trip back to Germany away from the front lines. Men would willingly put their heads above the parapet to pray for a Russian sniper to end their suffering, and within days each German soldier was losing kilograms of weight. But there was another problem with the German High Command, and it came from a mysterious illness or disease which was plaguing the German soldiers. It had been present even before the Germans became encircled and surrounded, and it was known as Stalingrad Heart. Many soldiers who were young, in their late teens and early 20s, were found keeled over and dead, and they were not suffering from wounds inflicted by the enemy or by the effects of starvation. These were young and fit men who were dead from no real cause or sign of battle. The reason these men died was due to the prolonged stress that the battle and the war was having on them. This was also affecting Red Army soldiers. The Germans in fact had found many Red Army POWs simply keeled over dead for no reason, but through autopsies of these prisoners of war, it was revealed that these men were suffering from enlargement or inflammation of the heart. Following 1941, the German army at the time had been short of men, and they kept Soviet POWs alive to supplement their workforce and manpower. They were used to move supplies and build roads and maintain infrastructure, but many of these POWs, fit and young men, died from natural causes. These men who were dying from no obvious cause at Stalingrad were dying from the prolonged stress that the battle was causing to their bodies. Living every day as if it was their last, the soldiers caused immense stress and trauma, and with this stress, caused physical damage and changes to the heart and the body. This then made the men more likely to suffer from heart attacks, and surrounded by artillery fire and constant barrages, this easily happened. The men of the Sixth Army became obsessed with death and were surrounded by it constantly, and with this a number of doctors were dispatched to conduct autopsies on the mysterious corpses. They found that after thawing, the bone marrow was filled with a waxy liquid, and that the hearts of these young men were inflamed and enlarged, and that the silent killer of Stalingrad was in fact death from heart failure. As mentioned, many of these deaths occurred before the encirclement of the Sixth Army, and increased in the final weeks before surrender because of the weather conditions and the cold. The starvation also made heart failure more likely to occur, but there was also a belief as to why healthy soldiers just died at Stalingrad. Despite all of the stress, the German army were giving their soldiers stimulants and amphetamines, and a drug called pervitin, which is linked to irregular heartbeats and high blood pressure. With this, it increases the risk for the taker of a heart attack or a stroke, and it was only within the last few decades that the risks of this drug were discovered. So the medication given to soldiers could have also been inflicting damage to the soldiers as well, and placing more strain on their hearts. It's also been considered that Stalingrad Heart could be linked to a vitamin deficiency caused by a lack of food and poor nutrition that was plaguing the German soldiers. Stalingrad Heart was a real condition that the soldiers of not just the German army, but also the Red Army suffered from. It's likely that the intense stress of the Second World War was having a very detrimental effect on the bodies of those people fighting in it, and the reason so many people were dying from natural causes with no sign of battle is because the heart could not take the fact that people were living in so much fear. The German High Command had learned about the stresses of battle and war on the Soviet POWs, and they understood towards the end of the battle that the stresses of Stalingrad were causing hundreds of seemingly fit and able soldiers to just simply keel over and die. Thanks for watching. To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe, and once again, thank you so much for watching.